Good evening, all. Hello. Can you guys hear me?
See,
Okay. What it's 8:01. I'm gonna probably wait till like 8:05 and to get it started. Not sure who's all coming, but thank you all for showing up and being on time. Let me see if I can start. And for those who are here already, if you like, can you put your like your name in the chat and what type of business that you have or you anticipate to start? I'm gonna get started in about just 1 minute. Okay, we're not gonna do this to Avery, but hey. Okay. Well, thank you guys for attending. This is like my second series of Secure the Bag series. This was titled Where the Cash At. So the first one was focused on hold on, let me make sure I'm recording. Am I? Okay. The first one was focused on like the whole grant cycle, like starting from where to find your grant to how to write one in the different parts of it. And that one was for like both nonprofits and business sector. But I wanted to take a deeper dive into the business sector, especially during the pandemic, the different ways that businesses can find funding during this pandemic, because there are still many ways and opportunities that people can find. So But I want to topic. I'm going to first go over Samaritan Grants, which is the company that I founded, the services that we offer, the current landscape of funding in this country during the pandemic, the different available grants and federal options out there, and especially ones that are specific to Black-owned businesses. Um, then also some creative cash flow strategies for how to manage your business during an economic downturn, and equity opportunities, which include bank loans and CDFIs. Then I'm going to leave time for you guys to ask me any type of questions of how I can help or how you can help your business become more sustainable and increase the cash flow. So let me So this is just a little about myself. My name is Amaya Howard. I am the founder and principal consultant for Samaritan Grants. Born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which may seem weird, but I was raised in Dallas, and I'm currently reside in Philadelphia. Got my master's in public administration and nonprofit management, where I took a lot of grant writing classes. I probably need to update this, so it's closer to $3 billion in grant funds. I'm not trying to flex, but I founded Samaritan Grants in 2018 just to help small businesses, small nonprofits, and I'm here helping businesses because there are a whole lot of resources out there that I'm really like. I know that more businesses go after. So some of the services that I provide are consultation and grant readiness. So I take a deeper dive at your organization, and then I determine like, okay, you're in a good position to get a grant, or you need to do this to get a grant or to apply for different type of funding. Then once I complete that, I go to the grant prospect and research component where I produce individualized results for specifically to you. Because, for example, you have a candle business, you are not going to apply for the same. You as a candle business is not going to apply for the same type of funding for. Oops, sorry, I messed up. For the trucking business. And hold up, let me go back to full screen. Okay. And I need to let some people in. I apologize. Is everybody in? Okay. So I provide a individualized consultation for your specific business to make sure that you are getting the right type of research specifically to what you're doing. After that, I can write the whole proposal from start to finish. Once you provide me with the information, I'll make sure your goals are right, plan, and then I will also submit for you. And then for those that want to write the grants yourself, I will provide training. So some can be in person, but of course with COVID, I do virtual training, webinars, and things like that to help people with their grant writing skills enhancing. Okay, then now I want to talk about the current funding landscape right now. So due to the pandemic, interestingly, lending like interest rates for like business owners are at a historical low. So I believe they're at like a 3.75 interest rate. And like if you get it from the government, you can pay that back within 30 years, starting 1 year after you receive the grant, receive the loan. So this is a good time if you want to think about current lending options to, you want to maybe start a franchise business, this is now a good time to take advantage of those government loans that are in place. And I'm gonna go over like the type of funding options that businesses have right now. So debt funding, this one includes a range of options like credit cards, bank loans, small business loans, like I mentioned. And these are just simply you can apply for these with a loan application. Just be careful of like predatory like banks that give you a really high interest rate on things. Self-funding, of course, that's probably what 90% of like Black entrepreneurs are doing with their business. They're coming from personal cash savings, or using like older people may use their IRA fund to like part of their franchising option to fund their business. And this one, of course, has some of the lower risk. Equity funding, this is more like angel investors or venture capitalists. These angel investors could be friends or families who believe in your dreams and people who see your potential, like Trump when he had that small loan of like $2 million from his daddy. Those are like equity funding. And then, of course, we have grants, something that I specialize in. I will definitely go more in discussion on this. So grants, of course, are money. It can be from business, it can be from the government, where you usually don't have to pay back if you follow the strict guidelines there are to what you say you're going to get the grants for. So before you apply for your first grant, here are some of the major requirements. So for grants, grants should be a part of like your whole financial plan. Literally no business or organization literally survives only on just grants, mainly because they're not a consistent form of revenue. So you may get a $50,000 grant this year. How you got to think of a way to like get that $50,000 grant next year. So that's some of the misconceptions about grants. And then, like I said, it should be considered 25% of your income. If you get a $50,000 grant, then you should have an income of about $200,000, like with revenue for that year. And then another thing, like have you consider a loan, only because, like I say, you should have other means of revenue when you're running your business, of course, through sales of anything before considering a loan. And another thing is, are you in the startup phase? I personally, with my experience, believe that you should be at least in a year of operation before applying for a grant, unless it's specifically for a startup grant. And when I say about operations, let's say, for example, I sell clothes. But let's say I only sold one piece of article about 3 months ago. I can still say I started 3 months ago. So even though if you only sell like one thing at a time, still consider just starting, because that's going to help you in the long run when it comes to applying for those types of grants. Okay. And then, of course, something that I do as a service with Samaritan Grants is provide grant readiness. So you need to like know the guidelines for the SBA small businesses. So there is a certain requirement for the amount of employees that you have, and also how much your revenue is to apply to be qualified as a small business. Then once again, have you operated your business for over a year? Do you have employees on your payroll? Even if they're just 1099 employees, contractors. Do you have those? Do you have like any official documents, like such as do you have an EIN number, or your DBA doing business at? Do you have proof of ownership? Those type of documents are often asked for when you submit a grant for your organization. And also with financials, like, are you paying your taxes, or your taxes, they up to date? Have you been audited? things of that nature. So it's something to consider when you want to start your business and you take those things into consideration. I want to stop and see if anybody have any questions, or if not, I can keep on going. I don't want to overwhelm with information, but I can keep going. So with this, we're still on the topic of the grant, because I really want to, the heavy part of my presentation is about the grants, what I specialize in. And then I just want like people to know, like when they do grants, like they apply for one, they need to do their research. Like that's really key. It's gonna save you a lot of time doing the research, because you can put all your work and all this effort. You can hire someone like me and then realize that you didn't do the research first, and then a lot of time and money could be saved if you didn't look at what they fund. Does the industry your business is in, does it fit into what they're looking for? So a lot of these things can be avoided if you just do your research when doing your grant research. So one thing is like, where do you find grants? That's like the $1 million question. So grants can be found like through Pacific, your state or local programs in your city. Most cities have grants and contracts for businesses and nonprofits to do. If there's a service that they find you do that you find useful, you can apply for these grants to your city. And also the same with like the federal and state government. A lot of these grants require matching funds. So for example, if you want to get a $100,000 grant through your city, you just have to show that I also have $100,000 in revenue. So they know that you are responsible and can actually manage that amount of funds, because they don't want to give $100,000 to a business that only made $5,000 in the last year, if that makes sense. But the amount of money, like it can vary from, a grant can vary from $300 to like half a million dollars. It just depends on where, what type of source it is. And then of course, I listed the various places that we can look for grants. And these are just literally everything thrown together, but a little plug, if you want to specialize grant research done, that's something that I can do for your business if you want to know exactly where to apply for grants. That's something that I can provide you with, so feel free to email me and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. Okay. And so I wanted to like highlight some of the Pacific grants and federal aid programs that are out there, and how, like, what it takes to apply for those. So, so the first one is just like, for example, the Facebook Small Business Grant. So the Facebook Small Business Grant, I would say that it is very competitive. Literally anybody can apply for it if you have like a Facebook business page. But the goal of this program is to like keep your workforce going if your organization has experienced a significant decline in revenue due to COVID-19. And they also want them to use their platform more to like connect you with more customers. A lot of these have requirements like you got to have between 2 to 50 employees. I think under 50 make you still like a small business. And then, of course, for you to get grants for this program, you have to have employees before and be in operation before the pandemic hit, or sometime I want to say about 9 months in existence before, so you can apply for these. And the following one, you probably heard these before, but these are some of the federal aid programs that came on the onset of the pandemic. So, of course, the Paycheck Protection Program. That one is a program designed to help small businesses, basically pay their workers if they were furloughed. So with this one, the SBA will forgive loans if you were able to bring back your employees after receiving it. This one was still a little sketchy and it had a lot of red tape. So my advice was to avoid it. But a lot of employees, a lot of organizations did apply for this. The EIDL loan, this one is to provide economic relief to businesses that will experience loss since Corona. This one was fairly easy for organizations to get, but one thing, especially with all of them, just make sure that you're reading the fine print whenever you are applying for these federal aid programs, because there are some consequences if you are not being as truthful as you said you're going to do with the funds, because all federal funds, they do audit you. They want to look at every dime that you spent with their money. These next two are similar SBA loans. One, if you was already in debt, they will help pay 6 months of principal, interest, anything that you accrued. And then bridge loans are just an advance of up to $25,000. If the business has a small, urgent need to pay their rent or pay their employees, and they couldn't wait to hear back from the EIDL or the PPP loans, this was an option for businesses. And these have been out since March, but I believe you can still apply for them month 6 of the pandemic. So, funding programs specifically to Black small businesses. So, for example, there are, sadly, since all the protests and the social justice movement surrounding George Floyd and Breonna Taylor death, there's been a lot of, what's the word? I don't want to, maybe white guilt or something, where a lot of these businesses are okay, we're going to finally start funding Black businesses, which is cool, I guess. But, so with that being said, there are a lot of opportunities for Black businesses to receive a lot of grants. So for one of the people, for example, Beyonce, and she partnered with the NAACP to give $10,000 grants to Black-owned businesses, which I happened to apply for an organization, and we won it. So I'm a little, kind of connected to Beyonce, but that's not the topic. So what I'm trying to say basically is there are a score of different types of Black businesses, Black-owned businesses grants that are out there. And that's something, like I said, something I can really help you with too. You can find a lot of them, and a lot of them are not as detailed. Some you have to have a physical location. Some of them, if you got to be able to sell your products on a certain platform. Some, if you're doing good to a community or you're providing a service, things of that nature. But there are a lot out there, and that is a good time right now for you to take advantage of this selective activism that many of these corporate companies are doing right now. Kind of sad, but just kind of got to seize the moment. And another, I want to talk about a cash flow strategy too during a downturn, because most businesses are experiencing, a drastic decrease in revenue. So I wanted to go over a lot of things that you can do as a business to make sure that you're keeping your doors open, you're keeping your business afloat. So for the first part, I want to talk about implement new revenue pricing models. So let's say you had your organization open for before the pandemic. Then of course your pandemic hit, you maybe had to shut down, and then now you're back up, but things are not selling as fast or as as you would like. So the first thing I would want is maybe just consider the pricing of your products. Is the pricing, is it at market value? sometimes you may need to inflate your numbers a little bit to reach your sales goal. Of course, you don't want to like overprice things, but a lot of companies, like for example, they are maybe doing like, if you buy this at this price, then you can get this one at a lower price. Just think of something like, that's not a new concept, but think of maybe that's a good way for you to increase your revenue. Like for example, for you guys that are attending this webinar, I am providing 10% off of my services, things of that nature. I really am. So I can tell more information after the webinar. So then another thing is to engage into new kinds of customer acquisition. Maybe your old customer base is not working out. So you would need to think of like new strategies of how you can get new customers. Maybe your demographic was men. Maybe you need to open it up to women, children, or if you're selling to companies, maybe you should sell to like individuals or sell to nonprofit organizations, sell to the government. Just do a revamp. And then also, like for example, if you're selling, you used to sell items in the store, maybe you think of converting everything to an online version. Some things like with the pandemic, you have to become innovative. A lot of things that came out of, a lot of great things that came out of the pandemic from people thinking on a whim, because you have to get creative because the time is the new normal. So you can't operate normally. So you have to adjust to the new type of environment that we're in. And then another thing to get creative. One thing I did admire, so I'm not sure if you're all familiar with Telfar, I'm saying it right, it's a Black-owned luxury purse brand. Back in August, they had a campaign for one day only that if you purchase a bag on this day, you're guaranteed to get the product, because historically they'll drop a product and it'll sell out in a minute. So maybe like if you have an inventory issues and you can't increase your inventory because you don't have the funds, so consider doing that. It's like a pre-sell. If you buy my product between this time and this time, you're guaranteed to get it by this time. So that's something, you get your money beforehand and you can use that revenue to purchase your equipment, purchase any of your products or your supplies. Then you are like, okay, I have guaranteed money coming in, I can produce X amount of products. And that would really help you with increasing your cash flow, and also help out with your inventory issues. And this right here is just kind of want to do a visual of where you should get your money from. As a small and medium business, most of your funding is going to come from bootstrapping. So when I say bootstrapping, that's like fundraising, that's from your Instagram page, that's from your family members, that's from people that you know donating, and your family people like just buying things. That's bootstrapping. So that's probably where you're at right now, where you're going to get the most of your capital, most of your income from. Then we're going to go into, of course, grants. So in grants, that is where you should start, like when you're small and mid-sized business. And these are, of course, like money, both bootstrapping funds and grant funds are money that you don't have to pay back. And then when we get into more like debt, so where you should apply for loans or any type of equity investments. And then a lot of this, it depends on where you at within your company, within your organization. Like if it's a startup or it's just in the beginning stages, then you can start going to like pitch competition, equity crowdfunding, angel investments, any other type of, venture capitalism to other people to invest within your program. Then I want to take the time to discuss some other equity opportunities. So, of course, it's not a secret that Black businesses are not funded at the level of white business. So African Americans make up more than 13% of the United States population, but only own 77% of the businesses. But and of course, those 7% of the businesses, the income of those are significantly lower than, of course, the other 93% of businesses that are not Black. And then also take that time to determine if a small business bank loan is right for you. There's not a one-size-fits-all bank loan out there. There are a lot of options for you and your business to choose from with the bank loan. Depending on the type, you should learn about the minimal requirements of each loan product, and then kind of start exploring the right solution. I would say, like, especially small Black-owned businesses should stay away from big banks because most of the time they're going to turn you around. They're not going to fund you. But then if they do, they really have a crazy interest rate, and they expect you to pay that back within, unlawfully short amount of time, which is not going to be beneficial for you, especially now during this pandemic when sales are historically slow. And then if you're not at a good point in your business, then you just, like I said, just make sure you are taking the right steps to get the right type of loans. And then one thing, if you get your business established, consider equity investments. So this is where money is invested in a business and is exchanged for shares. So this is a form of like patient capital. I'm not sure if any of y'all are familiar with that, but it doesn't require immediate payment. So there's you get long-term returns of a quick profit, and it gives like businesses a room to grow without the heavy debt burden of a loan. Those are a little harder to get. You have to be your business has to be well established to get the equity investments, but that's definitely something that you want to work towards getting your business to be able to be qualified for. Another equity opportunity is find a local CDFI, which is a community development financial institution. These are kind of like banks, but they are specifically put in areas of low income. Like for example, in Philly, there's a CDFI located in West Philly, which is a historically Black area, but also a historically high poverty area. So they're like a private financial institution, and they are solely dedicated to help low income people become part of the economy. Because real life, a lot of times the way out of poverty is through being their own boss, being a great entrepreneur. So these CDFIs, they offer things like you can get a loan through them, you can get technical assistance, which is like any skill that you may not have as a business owner, they can provide that with you. And a lot of this is at a very low or free cost. The only thing that you have to pay is the interest on the loan, which can be very low, like between 0 and 1% loans from your local CDFI. And now I would like to just open it up for any type of questions or any comments. I have my social media information right here. You can follow me on Samaritan Grants on anything. So I just want to leave the chat open. Anybody else that joined, if they would like to put their information in the chat, please let me know. But yes, you can speak or you can type it too. No questions? Well, if you might have any other questions, just feel free if you want to talk to me on the side about getting any type of grants for your business, I would love to help you out and help your business with the revenue and help it increase. And I hope this webinar was very helpful for you. I enjoyed having y'all. Just let me know how I can be of assistance.
Thank you, Maya. Can you send me this PowerPoint if possible, or?
Yeah, so I'm recording this, so I can send the PowerPoint, and then I can also send the recording of it too.
Okay, cool.
Definitely. All right. Well, like I said, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your night. Everybody, watch the debate and drink and vote. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.